Hola, ¿qué tal a toda la comunidad de Roastbrief? Continuamos en el marco de OFF México 2025. Tenemos que a un gran invitado forma parte de el colectivo Onformative. Hey, you, it's such a pleasure to get some release for Taiwan. Thanks for having me. So, Onformative defines itself as like when you are design and of course technology, you reimagine all of this structure of future. How to strike this balance to experimentation and reality also into your project?
Yeah, it depends on the nature of the projects, but the very beginning came clear to us that technology is our tool, our way to express ourselves. So some others might use a paintbrush or a pen and paper, but we use technology. We use code, we use digital processes. That's how we express ourselves. That's how we create.
It's a really complex process, like if you will be there and people, you gotta work with all of these emotions to raise the new story.
Could be complicated, but of course we also get better doing it, and we have quite some experience in this process, and it's always developed further because technology is evolving, and so do the processes.
Your work embraces uncertainty and challenges that you see. Is at school. Can you share an example, or can you tell us something when this mindset led to an unexpected yet transformative outcome?
I mean, of course, not only here at UP, but also in general, everybody's talking about AI and the influence of AI in the creative process and how it's changing the industry and the world in general. And when we first started to think about AI, that was in 2017. So it's way before people start to talk about using AI design process. And we often try to look at these things ahead of time. And we feel there's something that is going to be impactful or that is going to have an influence how we work. We start to explore it. We start to use it. So we get familiar base. And we just ask, is it complicated? Well, it is complicated at first. But if you start using it and make it part of your process, it just becomes another tool in your toolbox.
How do you see the future of AI through all of the three processes?
I believe it's going to be quite disruptive, so there will be a lot of change, I believe. I don't believe that everything is going to continue as this. Of course, processes are going to be they change. You don't need huge teams for certain things anymore. Is this going to change how agencies work? Is it going to change how individual artists work? And while it could be challenging for some, it could also be empowering for others. I mean, just think about it. As an individual, you can start creating a huge project on your own because you don't rely on huge budgets on a lot of technology that you don't have access to. So there are two sides to it, at least.
So from generative design to the interactive environments, your projects span these diverse burdens. How do you decide which medium best serves the story that you want to tell?
Well, again, you have to differentiate between our research, where we start with a question, and the question and the process defines the outcome, and the commission project, where there is always a really clear outcome defined. Because, of course, if you're working towards a media installation, that's your goal. So that's the media you're working. Then you start to explore what's the best way to tell a story, what to express. And with the other projects, we really like to keep this level of freedom to also see where it feeds us. Because sometimes it's too unexpected places. And that's where the exciting things happen. And this, again, is what is then introduced back into the commercial world. So we learn through both projects. They both infuse each other.
We close out. Is there any advice you could give to all of these still creating color? Disney creative generation that's they are trying to use AI techniques. Is there any advice you can give?
Well, first of all, using it. I think there's no way of not using it, and you need to be at least aware of what exists. So and then you can decide if you want to use it and make it part of your work and your process or not.
But there's no way to not know what exists. That's the first step. The second step is then really figuring out how to use it. And I believe the really value happens where you add something that other people don't. If you just use an AI, it creates output, and that's it, you're as good as anybody else. But if you continue after this point and create something new or use it to create something new, that's it. That's where the human creativity becomes important. So that's what I can recommend. That's my.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for asking for our enteros coming at the festivals de Shurdiha. Thank you. Wonderful. Comunidad de los continuamos sino que mi X2